moments later.
Consequences of my actions chasing me right now. I don't want no consequence. I don't want no consequences chasing me right now. Someone take this consequence. Someone take this consequence and chasing me right now. Jesus is the consequence.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. I am so sick of winning. Do you feel that energy shift? I can certainly feel it. Boys, are we back? Donald Trump walked into UFC 295 in Madison Square Garden to a Heroes Championship reception. 20,000 people on their feet, standing and cheering. Only Bill Burr's bitter wife standing there flipping off the camera. Who cares? Every winner's going to have haters. Something you didn't know, however, as you look at this glorious photo of Kid Rock with Dana White and Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson flanking him, and Don Jr., is that Kid Rock, right behind the three of these guys, Kid Rock up here holding a beer, which we assume would be a Coors Light, because as I've been told, Kid Rock does drink Coors Light. Oh, there's Tucker, right there, peeking over the shoulder. So, here's the background story of this. Did you know that the CEO of Bud Light, Brendan Whitworth, was sitting right behind them, and that Donald Trump and Kid Rock went over and bullied the guy for being woke and for destroying a great American beer company? It is a great American beer company. Good jobs, good people who work there. And that their woke marketing team got absolutely ripped by Donald Trump and Kid Rock. Oh, amazing. This was a question that was asked of Kid Rock during a special that he did with Sean Hannity. And this is an absolutely unbelievable story. Check this out.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Dana White. I saw you with President Trump and Dana and Tucker, and you guys all went to the MMA, what was it, the Garden?
UFC,
right?
yeah.
UFC.
Garden.
All right, so he was on this show.
I saw.
And it was about Bud Light.
Here we go.
he took on as a sponsor. Now, I'll tell you why I've never in my whole life ever supported a boycott. I've never called for a firing or a cancellation, ever. I mean, even people that I can't stand, like Bill.
By the way, I didn't either.
Yeah, okay. So what I worried about in that case was the guys that have the beer
working
routes.
class people.
Right, the guys that work in the factory, the guys that load the trucks. They're not the guys that made that stupid,
They had no dog in this fight at all. It's actually funny. Speaking of that UFC fight, I'm standing there with our favorite president.
Right.
And someone comes over to, like, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch standing right behind you.
Right.
So I go to the POTUS. I'm like, hey, that's the CEO of Anheuser-Busch. Trump's like, you want to go talk to him? I'm like, I do. So me and him go over. We actually had a great conversation.
Really?
Because, if you put this in context, why did this start? It's like, I told him that night, I go, you signaled to a lot of people like myself, like-minded people. Put the trans thing aside for a minute, right? I was like, but by sending that can to the trans kid, you kind of signaled to us you support this lifestyle, and more importantly, like men being in women's sports or in my granddaughter's locker room. Most of us draw a hard line right there. No. What are you doing?
You have a granddaughter. You're like 40,
two grandkids.
You're like 42 years old. Well, go ahead.
It gets cold in Detroit, Sean.
Yeah, I guess it does.
So I said, you signaled that to us. I said, but speaking of, I was like, if someone wants to be trans, I was like, I didn't rip that kid. I said, F you guys. I said, I didn't even say boycott or cancel. I said, F you. I said, what are you doing? Injecting yourself into this conversation, these polarizing social issues. I was like, you could be doing so much more positive stuff, just making us laugh and drink beer. But I said, someone wants to dress up like a girl, they want to be transgender or whatever. A lot of people fought and died for them to do that. Go for it. We can coexist. In public places. You might not be my first dinner invite, you know what I mean? And I'm probably not yours. And if you're gay, no one cares anymore, right? We all got gay family members, gay friends, gay co-workers. It's like, cut it out. Just be gay. I'm not going to clap louder for you.
You know what I hear you saying? You believe in freedom.
Yeah.
But if you want to indoctrinate kids in school.
That's what I tell my, let me say this to the trans and gay community right now. Be yourself. You're cool with me. I'm cool with you. That's how most people are. But as soon as you bring our kids into this, that's where you're going to bring hatred into it. Leave our frickin' kids out of it.
It brings us great joy to also note to that, after that, very interesting exchange, right? Like, stay out of politics. You're a beer company. Stay out of politics. This is something that we've said the entire time, right? We are pro-freedom, and people have the freedom to make bad choices and wrong choices. But, keep the kids out of it? Okay, that's our like adults are different than children. Keep the children out of it, and most importantly, keep beloved American brands out of politics. I would, as much as I'd love a Bud Light can with a MAGA hat on it and Donald Trump on it, I don't think it'd be smart. I drink the hell out of it, but I don't think it'd be smart for them to do. I think it's good for these big brands to stay the hell out of politics. Nonetheless, the CEO of Bud Light had to sit, presumably, right behind Alina Habba, who was Habba wearing an FJB necklace. You can see here in this photo with the owner of the Jets, here, Woody Johnson, who is also Trump's ambassador to England, if I'm recalling that correctly. So Brandon Whitworth had to sit there staring at the MAGA necklace, FJB necklace. A beautiful sight. A sporting event that I certainly wish that I could have gone to. I totally agree with Kid Rock there. Stay the hell out of politics. Stay the hell out of our cultural conversations and leave great American brands to simply be great American brands. We have a big country. People have the freedom to do what they want, I suppose. Doesn't mean I have to like it. But as an adult, stay away from kids and stay away from our favorite brands. Now, Brandon Whitworth went on TV to talk about the massive mistake. I assume this conversation went well. It seems like it did with Kid Rock. He went on TV to talk about this massive mistake of doing this as a brand. So he sort of went on TV to apologize effectively in saying, hey, the Dylan Mulvaney partnership, a very, very, very bad idea. Here, listen to this from earlier in the summer. I assume he told Trump the same thing.
CEO, that's Brendan Whitworth, we're happy to say, joins us at the table live and in color for an exclusive interview. Number one, we're glad to have you here. Many people in your position, Mr. Whitworth, would be running for the hills at this point. Because since April, you all have faced a lot of incoming. How and why did it go so off the rails? Because that certainly wasn't your intention when you did one can to one person.
It's been a challenging few weeks. And I think the conversation surrounding Bud Light has moved away from beer. And the conversation has become divisive. And Bud Light really doesn't belong there. Bud Light should be all about bringing people together. And there's been impact on the business, and I think that's publicly covered on Bud Light specifically.
Yeah, so what was your intention? Take us to the beginning. What was your intention? What were you all trying to do here? And you've done this before, these promotional campaigns.
Yeah, it was, just to be clear, it was a gift, and it was one can. But for us, as we look to kind of the future and we look to moving forward, we have to understand the impact that it's had. And like I said, that impact has taken place. But it's the impact on our employees, the impact on our consumers, and as well, the impact on our partners. And I think one thing that I'd love to make extremely clear is that impact is my responsibility. And as the CEO, everything we do here, I'm accountable for.
Given the moment. I mean, as we have said, and we've been very consistent in this, the people that we care the most about are the factory workers inside of Bud Light, who didn't do anything wrong, who just made beer. You may dislike the beer. I don't happen to like the beer, but they just made beer. It's a good living. They made a bunch of brands, and now they're being hurt because of the self-loathing, self-righteous, utter indignation of leftist woke multimillionaires who live in penthouses in downtown Manhattan, and they're having their careers destroyed. Bud Light sales are still down 30% 6 months after Dylan Mulvaney disaster. Drinkers lost forever. The reason why Brandon Whitworth was at the UFC is because the UFC is now the partner for Bud Light. And is now Bud Light spent hundreds of millions of dollars to become the partner in UFC to try and get rid of this branding. By the way, the most expensive marketing decision ever made in the history is right here, making this the face of your brand. So let this be a warning sign and a reminder that the people we actually care about are the people who work at the company.
I work for an affiliate company.
Listen to
I'm
this
a merchandiser, and the sole product of the company I work for is Anheuser-Busch products. So with all this canceling going on, I've never seen such little sales in this past few days on these products. And it's sad because when people don't buy this beer, I don't make money and I can't feed my family.
I don't make money and I can't feed my family. This has always been the person that we've cared the very most about. There are innocent people who are destroyed by wokeness, a virus that destroys cultures and destroys good people. These are the people that we care about. I'm certainly not going to compliment Bud Light. You still owe everyone an apology for what you've done. And maybe you can do that live on stage with Kid Rock and Donald Trump. That'd be a smart way to go about it. Maybe actually I take it back. Maybe you should do the MAGA can. Maybe you should do the MAGA can. Probably not the smartest marketing move, but hey, that's a way to win back your actual customer base, Bud Light. Think smart. Okay? It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.